Hey, this is Amy from Mint Content, and today I want to share with you my top 10 tips for improving your CV and LinkedIn profile. All of these tips are really easy. They've been put together by some of our LinkedIn and CV review experts who've looked at countless CVs and resumes in their time. They know how to spot a good one, they know the hallmarks of a bad one, and so if you want to land your dream job, or at least an interview for your dream job, instead of dooming your application to the rubbish bin, here's what we think you should keep in mind. Number 1. Keep it short. People ask us about this a lot, and the fact is 2 pages is the ideal length for a CV. People will stop reading if the information they need is buried in wordy paragraphs and unnecessary detail. So use bullet lists, use dot points, and try and avoid big, huge chunks of text that nobody can skim over. Number 2, start with a personal profile. This is normally 3 or 4 sentences outlining how your skills and experience meet the requirements of the role. They highlight what's great about you, what you bring to the table. They do have to be personalised a little bit for each job application, and they are additional to a cover letter. So you still need a cover letter, but also include a personal profile. Something along the lines of, I'm a software marketer with only over 10 years of experience across digital and traditional platforms, seeking opportunities to develop in an executive role. Easy. Number 3. Consider grouping short-term positions. Employers want candidates who look like they'll stay for the long haul. So, I was at university for 4 years and I had 7 jobs. So if I was applying for a graduate job now, there's no way I'd list all of them individually. I'd say I worked in retail for 2 years rather than saying I worked at a jeweler, a toy shop, a pharmacy, a library. The list goes on. Number 4. Focus on your accomplishments and skills instead of your employment history. If you've worked on short-term contracts, for example, bundle all of those together under contract work and highlight your achievements instead of detailing each role. That way the recruiter can see what you've done and what you're capable of without being distracted by the fact that you worked for 3 months here and 6 weeks there and 8 weeks there. Number 5. Add awards, prizes, and other relevant information that will help you stand out from the crowd. Do you speak a second language? Volunteer in an area directly related to the role? Make sure you mention these as long as they're relevant. The Chief Marketing Officer at your dream company doesn't need to know you captained the lacrosse team in Year 12, but she probably would like to know that you run a local networking group for women in technology. Number 6. Focus on what you've accomplished rather than your duties, and then back up your claims. So one of the things that we see quite often is people just saying, social media manager, responsible for publishing content on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and then they don't say anything about the results. So if you've added value, made or saved the company money, solved a problem, made something more efficient, attracted new clients, tell them how you did it. You can be brief, but if you did increase social media reach by 200%, chances are your future employer wants to know. So don't forget to include the results. Number 7, make sure the recruiter can easily see your strengths. It's always best to lead with your employment history unless you've recently graduated and don't have any. So resumes and CVs aren't stories. There's no narratives. Just get to your point and make the most important facts clear. Number 8. Use language that is easy to read and skim over. Some people think this means using acronyms, and it's tempting to do that if you are limited for space, but a recruiter probably won't know that the ERC stands for Expenditure Review Committee, so it's always better to explain what they are, at least in the first instance. Number 9, explain noticeable gaps in employment. This is especially true if you're studying, completing projects, freelancing, or undertaking research. People will notice the gap when they read your resume, so it's better that you explain it rather than them assuming that you didn't work at all during that time. Number 10, get a professional email address. I know this sounds like common sense, but it actually is not at all, even a little bit. So email addresses like ilovecatsforever@hotmail.com will send your application straight to the bin. Use your name. Also use a domain like Gmail or your own personal domain name. Some employers are less likely to give interviews to people with Hotmail or BigPond email addresses because they perceive that they're not as adept at technology. So some of these small details can actually help you make a big difference to your job application success. In summary, don't waste your time on a job application only to receive a polite rejection email a few weeks later. When it happens once, it's disappointing, but when you're repeatedly overlooked for interviews, it can really get you down. These tips will help you ensure that your application lands on the interview pile instead of headed for oblivion. And of course, if you need help making your CV or LinkedIn profile stand out for all the right reasons, Mint content can help. That's all from me for this week, and see you next Monday. Thank you for watching.